Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Last week, Supernote A5X got a brand new update, update 0.237, which brings a ton of new features, functionalities, fixes, and all that kind of stuff. So let's check out what do we get. Alright, so here we go. There's lots to cover because this is a massive update, like tons of functionalities and fixes and all that kind of stuff. So let's go through the list. PDF readers now support the pinch to zoom functionality, zoom in, zoom out. And when you are in a zoomed in state, you have the ability to manually zoom more if you want to. Then you can zoom out. If you don't want to, you can also check out which part of the page do you want to focus on, and you also have a two-fingered gesture, so which will basically mimic this kind of movement. So if you want to move it down, you kind of drag with two fingers. So that's all that you need to do to actually kind of navigate around in a zoomed state. It can zoom in to, let's see, how far can we zoom in? More. Nope. So maximum size is 400% of zoom, and yeah, it just works okay. I'm not a fan. This is the same type of zoom operation and how it functions as on the Remarkable, for example, like really similar, and it's definitely not something that I'm a fan of. And yeah, I think it's great that it's there. It's something that a lot of people were looking for, but I think that the responsiveness is slow. It's the exact same problems that I have with the Remarkable. Responsiveness is slow and the usability is there, but it's fairly limited. So it's there, it's great that it's there, but yeah, just don't expect wonders from this one. Another cool new thing that comes with the update 0.237 is that we can now load custom fonts into our Supernote, and they can be used with the EPUB files or books. And it's really easy because all you need to do to make it actually work is to, whoops, not there, but actually into files. You need to create a folder called fonts. There we go, fonts. And you need to place fonts, your custom fonts, into there. So in documents, fonts, that's what you need to actually make for the reader to find it. So that's the important one, not in the root, but in the document folder. And I've tested out both OTF and TTF fonts, the ones that I was making, custom ones that I was making in previous videos, and they all work fine. So everything works perfectly normally. And how does that look? Well, once you place them in, you don't need to restart or anything like that. It's really straightforward and fast. So you just go into your document, display settings, and then it's very handy that user defined, you also have this kind of link which actually tells you how to do this. And an important thing to know is that you can also create fonts folder under document folder as well in the Supernote Cloud or the Supernote Partner app, and then import fonts there, and once it synchronizes, then it will be on the device as well. So both ways are supported. But either way, you go to user defined, and then in user defined you will find your listed fonts. One thing that I found confusing at first, I thought, like, because I have 4 custom fonts, it's like I only can see 3. But the thing is that the drop down menu doesn't expand, and there is no slide indication to actually tell you that there's more content, but there is. So all you need to do is kind of slide down. Now it would be useful to either have a sidebar or an arrow that indicates that there's more content down there, or that this the whole pop-up menu auto expands depending on the content up to a certain size, and then if the content exceeds that size, then to have that arrow to just kind of indicate that, you know, there's more down there. And then, you know, you can actually have, if you slide down, then you have an arrow up here to indicate that you can slide up or down. Just an example. However, it works really good. You just select it, and let's make something larger for the camera to see, and then convert or save, and it just converts it into there and just uses it properly. So now I can finally go back into here and use the Supernote A5X font that I created last time and use it on the Supernote A5X, which is cool. So excellent. Another new addition, which is really welcome for the reader, is the ability to actually name your bookmarks. So now that you add a bookmark, you will automatically have this option where you need to name it. So I'm just gonna say, this is my bookmark. This. Okay, let's go. This is my bookmark. Customization for whatever reason, but still, now we have this bookmark or table of contents icon. That's another new thing that we have in the top bar. We have table of contents here, and we have the exit icon has been changed, or exit document has been changed. So now when you go to table of contents and I go to bookmarks, so these are my bookmarks that I've added, and then you can also tap on this little icon here to rename the bookmark later on, should you choose to do so. So really cool, because this is something that I often use, and I use quite a lot when working with the documents. It is now also possible to export the strokes in different colors. So you can't write in a different color, but you can export all of the strokes for a document in a certain color. And the way it works is when you go to export, now you have an option to use ordinary pen in blue, red, or the original shade of gray, right? So that would be kind of the thingy, and then you can of course use all pages, annotations, customizations, and all that kind of stuff. So I've tested that out, and here it is how it looks like in blue, red, and original gray. And here is how the export looks like. So this is the original grayscale, this is in red, this is in blue, and I also have this one where I wanted to test out the grayscale and see what happens when it's color. So it also kind of, it's basically transparency. So it just affects the color in a different way. However, the exporting is still problematic simply because it exports in rasterized form and there is no anti-aliasing. So the actual written content is very lo-fi. And yeah, these actually work as well fine, but this was a completely transparent stroke and it actually has an outline of some sort. So, and if I look at it closely, it could be that we have this kind of a outline thingy on all of them, which is a little bit strange and makes them stick out even more. So definitely the functionality is there and it works. So that's very welcome. However, I do hope that we will get an option of getting rasterized or non-rasterized export of strokes, so that they are vectors, so that they can scale nicely, that they're smooth, and /or to have filtering and anti-aliasing, so that we avoid this really bad pixelization that we can see here, which has been present for a while now. Another new functionality or feature is that you are now able to export the notes, handwritten notes, in a PNG format, but in different resolutions. So now you can actually choose the resolutions that you want to do that. So I did a test where I wrote with both brushes, the non-sensitive, non-pressure sensitive brush here, and the pressure sensitive brush underneath it. And then I exported all three options, and the three options that you get are only available when you go to PNG. When you export as PDF, you don't have these options, naturally. So the options are the original size, which is 1404 by 1872. Then you have twice as large, and then 4 times as large as far as the resolution goes. So let's check out how does that look like once it's actually exported and what the results are like. All right, so now I'm in Supernote and we have 100 to 400 and this one. And I think I also exported it as, yeah, PDF. So I just wanted to export to see what the results are with different with the different brushes, and if there's any kind of advancement as far as rasterization of strokes goes or filtering, but no, they are still not filtered and they are still rasterized. So no advancement there. Let's now double check the results. So this is the PNG exported at 100%. or resolution. So you can zoom in and have it like this. So that's pretty much okay. Actually, you get a little bit of filtering here from the PNG format itself, which is kind of nice. Let's see what we get with the 200. So the 200 is twice as large. And yeah, we get nicer filtering finally. So this is starting to look better, definitely. So we still have, there's no anti-aliasing here, but because the export resolution is higher, you get the PNG filtering by default, then we get this. So now let's go to 400%. And now we are getting much smoother results. So much better results than before. So I'm not totally convinced that this is the best way to go about it, but it definitely is a step in the right direction. And now you are able to have much smoother results of the notes that were taken. However, I'm noticing something else, and that is that the pressure non-sensitive brush, let's try and see if I can slide between images. So this is, yeah, so this is 100, and just check this one out here. This is the pressure sensitive brush. So this is 100%. This is exactly how it looks like on the device. This is 200%. So the non-pressure sensitive is still normal. This one, pressure sensitive one, is thinner. And then we go to 400% and it's even thinner. So I do like the effect. It looks pretty and all that kind of stuff, but I don't like the unpredictability of it. However, we are now able to actually get, in a rather odd way, but we are able to get nicer results out of this one. Now, what would be absolutely awesome is if we could have this in the PDF format as well, but it shows that they are definitely listening and thinking about it, and they are working on it. So that's why I really like the step in the right direction, that they are addressing this issue. Obviously it has some more ways to go, and I'm not 100% convinced that this is the best way to go about it, but why not? It works. I mean, for me, this definitely works. And what are the file sizes? Well, the biggest one, the one at 400% page, was 157 kilobytes. Really not that large. So I'm good with that. Even if it's a gigantic resolution, I'm really fine with it because it's actually giving me really good results. Plus, I could rescale it down to something that, that I might want later on. So this is far more usable than what we had on the release, and definitely cool. Another new functionality is that now when you're setting your custom screensaver, you have additional options such as fill, fit, if the image that you're using is not native resolution. This one is, so obviously it's not going to do anything, but you can also pinch into zoom, and you can use the, I believe, one finger in this case, yes, one finger to pan around, so that basically you can frame the image how you want it to be, and then you basically confirm and have it as a screensaver. So let's now try and make this like that, confirm. Okay, so it confirmed. Let's see, it's updated here, and does it work? Yes, it does. So definitely cool, especially if you're using downloaded images or something like that, that is not in the native resolution format or aspect ratio of the device itself. So if I go to fit, it goes back, I confirm, and we're good. Cool. And one of the bigger features in this update is now we have the USB OTG support added to the device, and the support is for storage and keyboard. So I'm going to test out both of them. I'm going to use this one that I have, and I can tell you that I've been testing it quite a bit now just to make sure that everything works, and it works up to a degree. I think it can and should be improved because there's definitely a couple of issues. So first, I'm using an older one. This is an 8 gigabyte USB stick. So we can see that we immediately have power, which is great. And now if I stick it in, It's going to take a while, so it's kind of blinking and doing its thing, but as soon as it's finished reading, it actually appears here, and I am able to go into it and browse and do whatever I want to do. Furthermore, we also have the icon here at the top next to Wi-Fi, which symbolizes that an external storage has been slotted in, which is all good, so that's fine. Once you unplug it, it actually tells you it's been removed, so that's fine. Now, where the issue starts is when I'm using, for example, this one, which is USB 3, 64 gigabytes little USB drive. So when I stick this one in, at first I thought that something was broken, or that something doesn't work, or that it's kind of bad. But then again, I went to other devices and I tested the same combination. It works on Note Air and on my phone, and on the computer, of course, it works. And the issue is that, there we go. So it takes a very long time for this one in particular to actually appear. And once it does appear, this is what I get when I enter. And this is why I thought that it was broken. However, it's not. You just have to wait an extraordinarily long amount of time. And this guy is working. I don't know if you can see that he's occasionally blinking here, red. Come on, blink. There we go, blink. So he is reading through the content. And I'm just guessing that the indexing is taking a really, really long time, or that there's some form of communication incompatibility. But what does happen is that eventually you do get the whole directory structure there, and then you go into another directory, and then you wait again, not as long, but a little bit less, and then again, and then again, and then again. So this is definitely not the type of behavior that I would expect from this kind of thing. Maybe it's a combination that this USB hub and this USB stick don't really sit well together with the Supernote at the moment. I really don't know. But what I do know is that if I use this combination of the same USB stick and the same hub on my phone or the Books Note Air, I don't have this issue and everything is behaving normally. So that's issue number one. Now, I tried to talk long enough for this one to actually, there we go, so finally it appeared. But if I go further in, it's gonna take quite a long time as well. So now I tapped on the Westerdahl's thingy, but it's very unresponsive, and then you have to wait. So you can wait for the folders for it to actually structure all that, and it's not, in my mind, this is not exactly usable and functional. However, once you do get in, so now I'm going to wait a little bit more, you are able to actually access files directly from the USB hub. And once you do, then there's no problem at all. It's just the navigation around the directory structure that's quite slow and obviously hindered by something. Well, it's been 7 minutes, so I'm not going to wait any longer. For me, that's not a thing that works. Now, the second thing that's a problem is that if I plug in 2 USB drives, they are powered and they are detected, but only the latest one that you plug in will show up. And then, of course, this is the other one that actually has normal kind of support, and you can navigate in a more normal way. But you can't, you can have both of them plugged in, but you can't have both of them show up in the storage at the same time. Again, I tested this on other devices, and on other devices you can see both of them plugged in at the same time. So those are the issues as far as the USB storage OTG functionality goes. Now let's plug in a keyboard and check it out. All right, got my keyboard, USB 2. So I'm just gonna hook it up, and you don't get any kind of notification or anything like that, but the keyboard itself does power up, so that's a good thing. Yep, so here is a document that I started to write with. Tap here to start the cursor, and as soon as I get into the editing mode and I tap here to get my cursor to start writing, you get the indication that a keyboard has been connected. And just for somebody to actually see how it relates to typing, this is the latency in real time. As stated before, I believe that the latency is strictly limited by the performance of the e-ink screen. Dum. So that definitely works, and that's fine. However, now we run into an issue of supported languages, because this is a Nordic keyboard, so this is a Norwegian keyboard, and the layout is different. And then, however, it's only using the English, and I don't know if it's US or UK layout here, and you don't have an option to choose a Norwegian keyboard layout, which means that you will have to hunt down where the actual key is. So definitely an inconvenience, and something that I believe should be remedied. However, it does work, it functions, and also I've tested it. You can run both the keyboard and the USB storage at the same time. So they do function, and that was actually something that was cool. The thing that doesn't function is power pass-through. Okay, so now maybe I've did something here with the connection, I don't know. But what doesn't work is the power pass-through, and it does work on other devices, on some of the devices. On some devices it works, on some it doesn't. On this one, I couldn't get the power pass-through to work no matter what. Even when nothing is plugged in and you just plug in the power here, it didn't work. So yeah, that's how the USB OTG is at the moment. There were also a few that I didn't really test. Notably, the email client is now supporting up to 3 accounts simultaneously. It can synchronize between 3 different accounts, and the email search history is now remembered. So your search queries are remembered, and there's a search history there. And also there's something mentioned, but I couldn't really find it, where it actually says that when you have a document open, the document name in the lower left corner, if you tap on it, it will get you to the storage location of the file. But for the life of me, I couldn't really figure out where or how to do that, or in which mode it is, because I was really looking, but I couldn't really find it. And there's also a ton of fixes, improvements, optimizations, and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really want to go through all of those, since there was plenty of new features and added things to go through anyway. So that's the update 0.237 for Supernote A5X. I think it's an excellent update. Not everything works perfectly as it should. So for example, the USB storage functionality, as I talked about, there's some incompatibility issues and things like that. You can't use more than one. The keyboard works great, but the languages are not there for different keyboard layouts. The zooming is there and it works good, but it's not really my preference because it's a little bit slow. It's nice that we have now exporting as colors, but it would be nice also if we could have the ability to have that exported results in better quality, because they're still rasterized and they're very much aliased, so the resolution is quite low. So maybe the solution would be that upon exporting the PDF, they do a much higher resolution and then they scale it down. I don't know. The best thing would be, of course, the ability as well to have it non-rasterized, but we don't have that yet. What I do like is that we have the ability to export notes as PNGs in that super high resolution, which seems to not take that much data, but it does definitely improve the end result, the quality result that you actually get from the device. However, even there, we do have that issue that the pressure sensitive pen is thinning out. Higher the resolution, thinner the strokes are. So it's not scaling with the resolution. At least that's what it looks like, is that the scaling of the width of the strokes is not scaling with the resolution itself. That should be a very easy fix. So that's maybe somebody just forgot to add it there. So that I know is going to be definitely fixed, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the results are. I think these are all steps in the right direction, and there's a ton of things. So what I think is going to happen is that over the coming days and weeks, we're going to get a bunch of smaller updates where they're like fixing this issue and this issue and this issue, which is perfectly normal after a massive update like this, because they've added just a ton of new features, which is definitely a welcome thing. So How to summarize update 2.3.7. I really do like where it's going and what it indicates to where the platform is going. It needs a little bit more work, but they're definitely doing that because, as I said the previous line about what I expect to happen in the future, the Supernote A5X actually said, hey, you have a new update with a bug fix. So that's definitely their train of thought, and that, as far as I'm concerned, is more than fine. I'm very much looking forward to see how these things develop because the platform keeps growing, keeps developing, and keeps improving, and that's definitely a good thing to see. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell to get notified when the new videos come out. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!